Algae biofuel, the future of fuel. What is algae? Algae are small but mighty. They are simple plants that play an important role within many ecosystems. Algae differ in appearance and characteristics. Algae can range from microscopic microalgae to large macroalgae that can be seen with the human eye. Examples of microalgae are cyanobacteria, green algae, brown algae, and red algae. Seaweed are a common example of macroalgae. In the image on the left, green microalgae is shown under a microscope. The image on the right shows seaweed, an example of macroalgae in the ocean. What are biofuels? Biofuels are a type of fuel made from living plants and other natural resources. Because of this, they produce less smoke when being made, which is part of what makes biofuels strongly considered to be an alternative to fossil fuels. The problem with current fuels. Transportation is vital to the daily functioning of the United States and other developed countries. Without the use of cars, trucks, trains, etc., people wouldn't be able to get to where they would need to go throughout the day. However, vehicles mainly use gasoline as fuel in order for them to function. The current form of fuel used, diesel fuel, is extremely hazardous because of the high amounts of pollutants it releases. When gasoline is released into the air, it emits gases that produce smoke, which negatively affects air quality. This also causes harm to the human respiratory system as well as life processes on Earth. These gases are also responsible for environmental problems such as the greenhouse effect. Other problems with diesel fuel are that oil imported to make it is expensive and a limited resource. Fossil fuels contain gases that harm the environment and have oil in them that is expensive and limited. Therefore, alternative fuels are needed for vehicles to run without harmful side effects from fossil fuel emissions. What is algae biofuel? Algae biofuel is an alternative to using fossil fuels. It is a form of biodiesel originating from algae. It can be used as a gas or liquid to run vehicles. Algae that sit on top of ponds, a form of microalgae, would be used for making biofuel because they are able to produce oil themselves. How is algal biofuel created? There are several steps that are involved in making algae biofuel from microalgae. In the first step of the process, microalgae are grown and developed in marine environments. After that, the algae are harvested and are put through wastewater treatments. Next, the oil from the algae is extracted. There are multiple ways of doing this, but using an oil press like the one in the picture above is the most common way of doing so. In the final step, a process called transesterification is performed. A catalyst is used to speed up the reaction between triglyceride and methanol to produce biodiesel. Glycerol formed in the reaction is removed when the mixture is refined. Why should algae be used for fuel? The amount of oil produced from microalgae is 30 times higher than what is produced from land crops. For instance, algal oil can produce up to 250 times more oil than soybeans. It can be grown commercially, giving more people access to oil from algae for fuel use. Production of algae oil from microalgae reduces the amount of harmful pollutants released in the air since it is produced from natural sources. Algae reproduce quickly, faster than any other plant. Thus, algae have the potential to produce more biomass and biofuel than other crops used for similar purposes. Algae can double every few hours in their growth stage. With these factors accounted for, there is massive potential and a more efficient resource for making fuel to run millions of vehicles from all over the world. Challenges of algae biofuel production. The current processes for algae biofuel production are not on a large enough scale to fulfill the ever-growing demand of fully replacing gasoline as the primary energy source for fuel. There is also not enough oil that can be created from these processes. In addition, costs to produce algae biofuel are higher than the cost of standard diesel. This comes from the maintenance, temperature control, and support costs throughout the process. Although switching to algae biofuel is costly, it will help the environment and improve the future state of planet Earth. Algae biofuel production will help to improve air quality and will allow people and animals to live and breathe healthier. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching.